Right now at 10, Adam Fravel's murder trial continues into its third day.
And Congressman Derek Van Orden makes a campaign stop in La Crosse.
Plus, Trane Technologies putting on a food drive for the Salvation Army.
Watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 10. I'm Ken Kozorowski.
And I'm Emily Brown.
Adam Fravel's murder trial continued today with more testimony from law enforcement. The state presented evidence collected from the Fravel residence back in April of 2023. Investigators described pieces of clothing and electronics, as well as a black laptop found in a dumpster and an unidentified electronic device discovered in a burn pit. The defense questioned investigators about those items and a phone connected to Kingsbury's van. Next, the state will call Brooke Pulowski, who owns the daycare that Kingsbury and Fravel's children attended.
The suspect in a Sparta homicide made an appearance in Monroe County Court this morning. 39-year-old Andrew Nauman is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of 35-year-old Takara Manning. Sparta police found Manning with life-threatening injuries at an Oak Street home on October 6th. She later died at the hospital. Police later arrested Nauman for bail jumping. He was out on a bond for a separate strangulation and battery incident. He's held on a $1 million cash bond and is back in court November 8th.
An Eau Claire man is charged with OWI after crashing into a utility pole that downed power lines and ignited a grass fire. According to the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Office, responders were called to the 10,000 block of Olson Drive in the township of Seymour just before 2 p.m. Sunday. Officers and firefighters responded to the scene, where they put out the fire quickly. The driver, 76-year-old John Bauer, was taken to the hospital and later charged with OWI. The road was closed for about 2.5 hours before the scene was cleared.
A Black River Falls man is in custody following a police chase in Eau Claire County. The Fairchild police chief says 29-year-old Keegan Fogelson fled a traffic stop Saturday night, causing a police pursuit. Fogelson allegedly rammed a squad car 5 times and threw a hatchet-like item at police before locking himself into a nearby residence. He later surrendered after police promised he could smoke a few cigarettes. Fogelson faces several felonies, including fleeing and eluding, reckless endangerment, and bail jumping.
Well, another warm one today. We actually got close to a record. A record for La Crosse was 83. We got up to 82. These are normal temps you'd typically see during the end of August or early September. Unfortunately, if you like the 80s, that's probably the last time we're going to see them, potentially until next spring. But overnight, it's going to be mild. If you've stepped outside, it's real mild right now, upper 60s and 70s. We're only going to get down in the mid to upper 50s, and these actually are the average highs for this time of year. We do have more cloud cover on the way, so a warm start for your Tuesday. We have cloud cover, maybe a sprinkle or two, potentially south of La Crosse through the morning hours with some break by noon, getting up to 64, and that south wind increasing. Eau Claire cloud cover, but their shower chance really comes to tomorrow night. Get some partial clearing by noon, getting back up to 67. So cooler, but still very mild for this time of year to see those temperatures. Overall, there's a system to the south that's coming northward, and then we have a cold front that'll be more for Tuesday night and Wednesday, just entering the Dakotas. So both of those in play will give us some rain chances, and definitely you got to do the rain dance a little bit because we definitely need it coming up. But we are going to see some this week, not a lot. I'll break that down, show you what the temperatures look like, and more importantly, what it looks like going into Halloween a bit later in the broadcast.
Hey, some is something.
Yeah, It's been a dry one. Thank you, Greg. Wisconsin early voting for the November general election starts tomorrow. La Crosse City Hall will open tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Now, La Crosse's early voting period ends November 1st. The 5 polling locations in La Crosse all have different hours and days that they'll be open in between Tuesday and the 1st. We will have a link to that schedule online. If a voter has a disability or impairment, they will be able to pick up a ballot at the entrance or curbside at those polling locations. They will need to call the city clerk's office upon arrival.
Congressman Derek Van Orden was in La Crosse for a campaign stop. He met with local business leaders at the Capella Performing Arts Center for a La Crosse Chamber of Commerce forum. He gave remarks on his legislative priorities and provided an overview of the 118th congressional session. Van Orden emphasized the importance of the 3rd District's votes in the November election.
So I want our hardworking men and women of the 3rd Congressional District to get out and vote. We've got same-day voter registration. Do it right now.
Rebecca Cook will participate in her portion of the forum on Wednesday.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren and Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin hosted a campaign event at UWL today. Warren and Baldwin met with students to promote early voting and rally support for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Both spoke about the importance of the upcoming election and encouraged voters to make a plan to vote. Warren highlighted Harris's plans to lower costs for Wisconsin families and safeguard fundamental freedoms.
You vote and you go get someone else to vote, and you make sure your cousins and your friends and even that cranky uncle gets out there and votes, then we know that our democracy will survive, and we'll have Wisconsin to thank for that.
Warren's stop comes after her rally in Eau Claire. That was on Sunday. More than 120 schools in Wisconsin are putting a referendum on the ballot this fall.
That includes West Salem, who are looking for approval for not one, but two referendums. News 8 Now's Allison Ferget explains.
West Salem voters will have the option to approve a $3.5 million recurring operational referendum and a $28 million capital improvement referendum. School officials say both referendums are important to the district's future. After surveying West Salem families on community needs, the district is asking for support on two referenda, totaling more than $31 million.
The board feels strongly about continuing West Salem to be an excellent district. Having that money to support those programs is going to allow us to continue.
The operational referendum is designed to maintain current district programs.
Obviously, with the inflationary costs that we all have, those same costs affect us here within the school district.
The district successfully passed an operational referendum in 2022, but that funding will end next year, and the needs aren't going away. This time, the district is asking for a recurring referendum, so they don't have to go back to the voters.
The recurring means that, obviously that the $3.5 million that we're asking will go on, as long as we need that.
Reber says the school board will be able to increase the tax levy up to that $3.5 million level, but they don't have to keep it at that level every year. Ultimately, he says the operational referendum is important to maintain programs for students and retain staff.
We want to make sure that our community and our students get the highest possible education they can possibly get, and we feel that our teachers are the ones that provide that for them.
The goal to provide the highest possible education is also the motivation behind the $28 million capital referendum. The project includes creating more gym space at the elementary school and building a new career and technical education center at the high school.
We know that not every student goes on to a four-year college, and we want to make sure that we're providing college, career, and life-ready opportunities for all of our students.
The district says if the operational referendum passes, property taxes would stay the same. But if the capital referendum passes, taxes would increase $110 per $100,000 of property value. Although residents could see a tax increase, Reber is confident the two questions will pass.
I think, our community supports our school district. They've supported what we've done.
Now, the referendums are not dependent on each other, which means you can vote for one and vote against the other. But ultimately, school district officials say voting for both would be the best for students. Reporting in West Salem, Allison Ferget, News 8 Now.
Now, referenda are a common occurrence statewide. According to Viroqua Superintendent Tom Burkhalter, 192 districts have asked 241 referendum questions in just the last 12 months.
A local business teamed up with the Salvation Army for a food drive this morning. Train Technologies is partnering with the nonprofit for a Stuff the Truck event, gathering non-perishable food items and hygiene products for the unhoused community. More than 60 residents stay at the Salvation Army, and items from the food drive will support their meal programs.
Community supports its community. So the great thing about the La Crosse area is we have many folks that are interested in helping out one another. Having a public-facing community drive, partnering with an organization, collecting and then dispersing just makes sense for everyone.
Quam says folks in need of some extra food should reach out to the Salvation Army through their website or by giving them a call.
A new federal program for Hurricane Helene victims.
How it's tackling a major misinformation issue. Up next.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means. And so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with a flat interior work surface.
Drop down the tailgate to get it all done. And plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 2.9% financing for 66 months, plus up to $9,900 in total savings on a new Ford F-150 XLT. Only at your local Northland Ford dealers.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubdy supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
As a working mom, I'm feeling the pain of inflation. Everything costs more these days because of Biden and Kamala's wasteful spending. And while we pay more, they're giving away our hard-earned money to illegal immigrants. Tammy Baldwin is just as bad. Baldwin voted to give amnesty and taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. She even gave them government stimulus checks and free health care. We can't afford Tammy Baldwin and her handouts to illegal immigrants.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Firefighters Credit Union now has credit cards. I know what some of you are thinking. The money man has sold his soul to the devil. Well, not quite. Unlike the big credit card issuers, we don't want you to pay interest. We don't want you to pay late fees. We don't want you to pay over the limit fees. We want you to use our card. If you use it correctly, you'll never pay a dime, and we'll pay you to use it. Are you intrigued? Give us a call and find out more today.
People in North Carolina are still dealing with widespread damage nearly a month after Hurricane Helene slammed parts of the U.S.
The federal government there for weeks helping with recovery and repair. Now FEMA announcing more help for those affected. Maribel Gonzalez tells us about the agency's new program.
North Carolina grappling with the destruction left behind by Hurricane Helene.
Sadly, we have 95 storm-related fatalities over 21 counties.
The federal government approving more than $300 million in assistance and debris removal. And now more help is on the way.
The government will create a brand new program for assistance.
The Biden administration announcing a new community liaison program where representatives will serve as, quote, trusted messengers between FEMA and affected residents. This new aid coming as the Tar Heel state is not only dealing with damage, but also combating misinformation.
Donald Trump is coming to Asheville today. I'm asking that he not share lies or misinformation.
Former President Donald Trump continuing to fuel inaccurate claims about the federal response to Helene.
In North Carolina's hour of desperation, the American people answered the call much more so than your federal government.
Such claims North Carolina's Democratic Governor Roy Cooper dispels and says are getting in the way of helping those who need it.
Many survivors of this storm lost everything. They want help, and they want the truth.
Last weekend, a North Carolina man was arrested for allegedly threatening harm against FEMA employees there to help with Helene recovery.
To truly help people, we must check party politics at the door.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Well, more news ahead, but first.
Quite a dry spell we've had at La Crosse. It's been 30 days since the airport saw measurable rain. That could come to an end later this week. We'll break down the rain chances as well as what the temperatures look like for the rest of the week. That coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Here at the Y, we offer more than just a job. We offer the chance to make a difference in a fun, flexible environment where our mission and core values drive every decision we make. Join us in this amazing work. For specific positions and details, visit our website.
This is a cup of coffee. It's to go. Because here, you're on the move. Our team coordinates all your appointments, so you see all the experts you need quicker. Because when you're facing a complex condition, it feels like time is being taken from you. So, we found a way to give it back. East Park Medical Center, coming soon. UW Health. Remarkable.
He thinks he's better than us.
Derek Van Orden said, "I don't give a f who you are. I'm a congressman." So it's no surprise Derek Van Orden would cut Social Security and Medicare and give more tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. We earned those benefits with every paycheck, but Derek Van Orden thinks he's better than us. Don't let Derek Van Orden cut Social Security and Medicare. Your community PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with a flat interior work surface. Drop down the tailgate to get it all done, and plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 2.9% financing for 66 months, plus up to $9,900 in total savings on a new Ford F-150 XLT. Only at your local Northland Ford dealers.
Here at the Y, we offer more than just a job. Experience the personal satisfaction that comes from nurturing the potential of youth and teens, improving our community's health and well-being, and providing support to our neighbors. Join us in this amazing work.
Proper installation of your new windows make a difference. The team at Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions are factory trained to make sure your windows are installed to last. Call or stop into the showroom for your free estimate.
Yeah, it's been quite a dry spell through all the way to early September.
You head over to the West Salem Quick Trip.
3 inches were kind of less than that. Overall, if we look at the precipitation that's going to be going on here for the next 5 days, really, we got 2 opportunities. One Tuesday night, but then tomorrow night. But I think really the big thing is going to be Thursday night when we have the potential to see maybe up to a 1/4 of an inch. Darker greens are further south, and that's where we think we'll see more precipitation. But everyone might see something right now. It won't be enough to really bust out this drought and get us caught up to what we should be, but at least it's a start because we just haven't seen much in the last really almost all the way back to early September. The leaves, get out there and watch them. We do have some windy conditions coming up potentially in the next week, but most of the areas are going to be peaking here overall, so really it's about the last week, I think. Next week we do have more rain chances coming in and cooler conditions, so the leaves might be all gone by that point. So we do have more clouds for Tuesday. It's going to be cooler, but still about 10 to 15 degrees above average. That's what we're looking at. A few showers, and that's really a few, maybe sprinkles more Tuesday morning. A better shot of maybe a few showers further north along I-94 or even up to Eau Claire Tuesday evening. Very light amounts of anything. Much cooler on Wednesday, back to where we should be. Overall, here's the picture we showed you earlier. That's the system that's bringing some cloud cover and eventually maybe some sprinkles for tomorrow morning. The cold front is well to the west out in the Dakotas. That's for Tuesday evening, so it's kind of a twofold here, and we kind of time it out with cloud cover. Overnight, you're just going to see cloud cover continue to increase. Won't see remaining dry and remaining very warm with that south wind increasing. We do have a few showers, and you'll start seeing them kind of come up towards the area towards about 10 a.m. Very light sprinkles or showers potentially down here as we go through the early morning hours to about noon. Then in the afternoon, a little break, some sun comes out, we get up to the 70s, and then here comes the front with a line of showers. Very scattered, maybe isolated showers that may approach Eau Claire between about 6 to 9 and then maybe extend closer to La Crosse as we get closer to about 10, 11. Unfortunately, a lot of the areas south won't see much, and even if you do get one of these showers, amounts will be light, less than the 10th. Tomorrow's highs, we're looking at temperatures really more in the 70s, still about 10 to 15 degrees above average. Things change as we go for Wednesday. The lows overnight will get back a little bit closer, still fairly mild for this time of year, but then if you go to the highs, we're going to be in the 50s for the most part. So that's what you're going to see the change, and that's where we should be. Winds a little breezy to start off Wednesday morning as you come through with those winds, 10 to 15. So the morning commute for Wednesday could be breezy as the northwest winds pick up behind that cold front, ushering that more seasonable conditions. Thursday night, the best chance rain. These two systems and a cold front comes through. That has the best shot to see maybe some precipitation coming for your Thursday and Thursday night. That looks like some amounts could get maybe up to a 1/4 of an inch. Otherwise, Friday and beyond the weekend, we kind of get back to where we should be, but still mild. And then next week, beyond Tuesday, is getting more unsettled and trending wet, although still kind of mild. Well, they'll keep an eye on for Halloween, but that looks to be a little bit wet than we've had recently. So we'll get some rain this week, not a lot, but more potentially coming next week. But also say goodbye to the 80s. I don't think we'll see that again.
Looks like it. We're not going to see it.
Nah, goodbye.
All right, thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, bad news Bucks. The NBA season set to begin this week, but Milwaukee is going to be out one of their main guys. Cade is next.
News 8 Now Sports is brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, with 6 locations of fun.
The Board Store 35th anniversary, you could win. Third prize, $1,944 savings certificate. I was born in October 1944. Second prize, $1,989 savings certificate. I started the Board Store October 1989. First prize, $2,024 savings certificate. I'm celebrating 35 years at the Board Store. Call or visit our showroom soon. Better products.
Better people.
Better prices.
The Board Store, improving your home, improving your life.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for Defund the Police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubdy supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
This illegal immigrant was recently arrested in southwestern Wisconsin for a sexually violent attack on a woman, a suspected Venezuelan gang member who entered the U.S. just last year. Unfortunately, Steve Doyle supports sanctuary cities that protect criminals like this, and Doyle opposed sending resources to secure the border to keep dangerous criminals like Alejandro Jose Coronel Zarate away from our families. Steve Doyle's failures are destroying Wisconsin lives. Steve Doyle, unwilling to secure the border, unfit to serve.
It's Jeep Adventure Days at Chrysler Winona. Lease a new 4-door Jeep Wrangler Willys V6 with heated seats and steering wheel for $549 down and $549 per month, or buy it from $10,000 off of MSRP. Need more room? A new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L with heated leather, sunroof, and a V6 engine up to $10,000 MSRP, or lease from $599 down and $599 per month. So see us today at our new location, Highway 61, Winona.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
Over the last 3 weeks, the Wisconsin Badgers have outscored their opponents 117-16. This is the Wisconsin football that I'm sure many Badger fans were hoping to see when they brought in Coach Luke Fickell. But if Wisconsin really wants to take things to another level, then they're going to have to start beating some of the Big Ten powerhouses. And they've got a big opportunity to do that this weekend. Wisconsin welcomes in third-ranked Penn State for a night game at Camp Randall Stadium. But according to Coach Fickell, those things aren't important. It's just another game and another chance for his team to get a win.
This is a big game because we've had an opportunity to make it a big game. And the way that our guys have played the last few weeks make it a bigger game. Nothing else matters. You know, we talked about it last week of payback and redemption and the way we had played last year. And you talk about those things, but like I say, once that ball's kicked off, none of that matters.
How about a quick recap from yesterday's NFL action? With under 2 minutes to play, the Texans would kick a go-ahead field goal in Green Bay, would get the ball back with 1:44 to play, down by 1, and that was plenty of time for Coach LaFleur and Jordan Love to drive down the field. And then with just 3 seconds on the clock, they would call on their new kicker, Brandon McManus, to win the game, and the vet would come through. Green Bay improves to 5-2 on the season, and now they'll make a trip down to Florida to take on a Jacksonville Jaguars team that has struggled to start the year. Packers open as 5.5-point favorites, in large part because of the way their defense has been playing, giving up just 12 second-half points over the last 3 games. And Coach LaFleur loves what he's seen from his defensive unit.
You had 2 drives start on the 11-yard line, another drive start on like the 45-yard line. There's just a lot of short fields in there, and to be able to hold somebody to 22 points, considering all those circumstances, I thought he was deserving of the game ball. For the most part, our defense played as well as they've had all season long.
Jacksonville is coming off of back-to-back games in London, and despite a 2-5 record, they've scored more than 30 points in 2 of their last 3 games. So the Green Bay defense can't fall asleep. We'll have more on this one throughout the week. The Vikings also with a wild ending, trailing the Lions late in this one, but as Detroit's trying to run out the clock, David Montgomery coughed up the football and the Vikings scooped it up and took it in for a 36-yard touchdown to take a 1-point lead. But the Lions would get the ball back, and much like the Packers, the Lions drove down the field, and with under 20 seconds to play, Jake Bates would kick a game-winning field goal, handing the Vikings their first loss of the season. A quick turnaround for Minnesota. They've got a date with the LA Rams for Thursday Night Football, a homecoming game for head coach Kevin O'Connell, as he was the offensive coordinator under Sean McVay and was a part of their Super Bowl team a few seasons ago. The NBA season gets started this week, and I am pumped. The Bucks, once again with big expectations, as 2 first-round exits in back-to-back years has Giannis motivated, maybe more than ever. But it was announced today that the Bucks will be without Chris Middleton for the season opener. The 3-time All-Star is rehabbing from off-season ankle surgeries, and Milwaukee is being cautious about bringing him back. The Bucks open up the season on the road against the Philadelphia 76ers on Wednesday. Tip-off is set for 6:30, and you can watch it on ESPN. And tomorrow, the Timberwolves help get the season started in LA against the Lakers for opening night. The Timberwolves go into the season with the 4th best odds to win the NBA Finals. Of course, all eyes will be on Anthony Edwards as one of the league's rising stars, but it's just going to be a weird feeling as they'll be without Karl Anthony Towns for the first time since 2014. And I don't know about you guys, but this is one of the best times of year. We've got football on, the World Series, hockey started, and now this week, basketball is back.
It's a lot of activity. Does that mean we get a fantasy basketball league going? Do you guys do that also?
I've never done fantasy basketball, but we are on a roll.
We might have to get that going.
Have to start that now.
Maybe an NBA pick'em, so let's do that.
Oh,
Maybe.
gosh. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, more news right after this.
When you see Stacey Klein, think 1849. She supports the 1849 law that would ban abortion. No exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the mother. Don't let Klein take us back to 1849.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
Racist and offensive. Ryan Hipsch's social media history tells us who he really is. In one post, Hipsch said that he wanted a hat with the N-word embroidered on it. In another, Hipsch aims a rifle and comments that he can't wait to kill Muslims using a slur. Then wrote, LOL, that was racist. And that's just the beginning. Hipsch's social media posts are full of degrading terms for women and people with disabilities. Tell Ryan Hipsch that his agenda is too extreme for the Cooley region.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
Create your dream kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry. With multi-purpose finishes and features to choose from, you'll be sure to find a style that's perfect for you. Get these La Home kitchen cabinets for $39.99.99 after rebate. Finish your project with countertops from Menards. From elegant to everyday options, we have what you need to update your living space. Take home pre-cut laminate countertops today, starting at $29.98 each after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
When you see Stacy Klein, think 1849. She supports the 1849 law that would ban abortion. No exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the mother. Don't let Klein take us back to 1849.
You expect more, so thank you for watching News 8 Now.
Halloween may be a little more than a week away, but some of the cutest canines in the country are already getting into the spirit.
That's right. Crowds lined the streets over the weekend in New York's East Village for the annual Halloween Dog Parade. The pups donned creative costumes from a furry little Cinderella to hip-hop group Run DMC. Many dog owners joined their puppies in the fun and dressed up in matching outfits.
To do something very iconically New York. It was a bit difficult, but we made it. We're here. They're stunning, they're gorgeous, they're living their best lives.
This is the 34th year for this parade.
And wouldn't that be fun to go to? What are your dog's costumes?
That's a good question. I leave that up to my wife. I'm sure she has ideas in mind. My black lab doesn't like anything being put on him.
Yeah.
So it's always a trial and a tribulation to make it happen. Our golden retriever is very easygoing. She'll basically do anything.
Anything?
Pretty
okay,
much.
maybe you can come up with the idea this year.
Maybe.
Look at this one right here. I don't know what that is. Oh, a ketchup bottle? Maybe that? Something simple.
I did see a photo the other day of a black lab being a Coke bottle. That's nice and easy.
That would be fun.
I could
Yeah,
do
just
that
a
one.
little zip-on costume. Yeah, I like it. All right, Greg, we'll have one final look at your forecast when we come back.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies for you and your field companions to make your trip successful. Right now, get a free $10 Blaine's Farm and Fleet gift card when you buy select bags of Purina Pro Plan dog food, featuring advanced formulas to support your dog's unique performance needs and taste preferences. So gear up and save on Purina Pro Plan dog food.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. Visit HometownChevy.com.
Eric Hovde has a problem with the truth. Time and again, his ads have been called false. He's a desperate candidate, willing to say anything. But here's what's true. Eric Hovde has a plan to slash Social Security 28%, Medicare 25%, veterans benefits 40%, all to spend $4 trillion on tax breaks for rich guys like himself. Eric Hovde's lying, and he's not for us.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
You come alive in the dead of winter and start work early on snow days, because snowed in is not an option. The Kubota Snow lineup of compact tractors, RTVs, and versatile attachments are built to move, plow, blow, and thrive in the winter. So when the snow falls, you can rise to meet it.
Right now, receive 0% APR for 60 months and up to $2,300 off BX Series tractor packages. Visit any of your local Johnson Tractor dealerships in Menominee, Baldwin, Osseo, and Arcadia.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Pivot! Shut up! Pivot! Shut up, shut
Shut up. Okay, hold on. I don't think it's gonna pivot anymore.
Guys, just like pivoting from cooling to heating season, it's a difficult adjustment.
Pivot into winter, called GNT.
Pivot! Shut up.
A GNT.
For the best heating and air conditioning, guaranteed.
All right, tomorrow we might see it's cooler, still 70, still above average, maybe a showers, I think more Tuesday evening, and if you get any of those showers, it would be very light. A better shot of rain coming Thursday night, and we kind of cool off for the weekend, which still looks fairly mild and dry with rain next week.
All right. Thank you, Greg, and thank you all for joining us tonight at 10.
We'll see you tomorrow.